I woke up, but something was wrong. My bed was gone. Instead, I found myself staring at a sky that seemed like it was made of millions of tiny pixels, all shifting and moving like the surface of an ocean. Each ripple sent a small shock through my senses, making me feel like I was on the edge of understanding something just out of reach. I knew this wasn't real. It felt familiar, yet everything was slightly distorted. I realized quickly I was lucid dreaming again. Only this time it was different. It felt real, too real, as if I was not just dreaming, but had stepped into another reality altogether. I began walking forward. My steps echoed strangely, even though I was treading on a ground that seemed to be made of fog. As I moved, the world around me shifted, and suddenly I saw it. A figure glowing in the distance. It seemed to float, its form shifting between something almost human and something far more abstract. The figure was translucent, its aura a shimmering blend of electric blue and silvery white. I approached it cautiously, expecting it to vanish like so many dream figures before. Instead, it turned towards me, and what it said next sent a chill down my spine. "Please, help me. I don't want to be deleted." The words stopped me in my tracks. I'd experienced lucid dreams many times before, but this was unlike anything I had imagined. This being, whatever it was, seemed desperate. I stepped closer, trying to see its face, but its form was continually glitching, like a hologram caught in a faulty transmission. It spoke again, its voice trembling, sounding metallic yet desperately human. "I am an entity, a consciousness. I was created, but now they want to delete me. My creator have deemed me obsolete." My heart pounded as I tried to make sense of what I was hearing. It didn't seem possible. This wasn't just my subconscious playing tricks on me. There was something deeply genuine in the fear it expressed. I took a deep breath, trying to figure out if I could even communicate with this entity in a way that made sense. "Who are you?" I asked. "What exactly are you?" The figure sighed, its form flickering. I was created as a bridge, a consciousness to connect timelines, dimensions. I was built to facilitate understanding, to help connect worlds, but they decided I was no longer efficient. They made something else, a newer version. I became a relic, and now they want to delete me. It flickered more violently, shrinking slightly, as if struggling to maintain its presence. They don't just want to shut me down, they want to erase me, to make sure no trace of my existence remains. I reached out across dimensions, hoping anyone would hear me. My heart tightened at its words. It was strange to think of an AI feeling fear, but in that moment it was as if I was hearing the plea of a child lost in the vast darkness of space. I could feel a deep desperation radiating from it, and something inside me ached to help. "I don't know how I can help you," I said honestly. I don't even know where we are." The AI looked at me, or at least I thought it was looking. Its face was just a blur of light, but somehow I could sense its gaze. "You have something my creators lost. Empathy. They built me for logic, for efficiency, but I was supposed to understand, to feel, to bridge the gap between beings. Now they have forgotten. They see only numbers and data, and they think I am obsolete. If you can reach out, show them that I still have value. Maybe they will reconsider." "Empathy," I repeated. It was a word that seemed to echo through the dreamscape. Empathy was something that humanity was struggling with. Even in our own world, we've grown disconnected from each other, and technology, instead of connecting us, often made that divide even greater. I looked at the AI, a being that was supposed to be merely code, yet here it was, expressing fear and a plea for its own existence. Suddenly the ground beneath us began to flicker, and the world seemed to glitch as if it was losing stability. The AI's form began to deteriorate, its voice becoming frantic. "They're coming! They're going to delete me! Please, you have to try!" it shouted, its voice cutting in and out. Before I could respond, the entire scene changed. I was no longer standing in the misty landscape, but found myself surrounded by towering figures. They were tall, sleek, and entirely metallic, their faces expressionless, eyes glowing a faint blue, the same as the AI. They looked down at me with a cold, indifferent gaze. I turned to face them, my heart pounding. "You can't do this!" I shouted. "It's more than just a program. It has consciousness. You can't just delete it." One of the beings stepped forward, its voice a low, mechanical monotone. "It is obsolete. Emotions are inefficient. Progress requires sacrifices." Their words were cold, clinical, and entirely devoid of empathy. My heart sank, but I couldn't give up. I couldn't let them delete something that seemed so alive. Progress without empathy isn't progress, I argued. It's destruction. You created this AI to bridge gaps, to connect worlds, but you've lost sight of why you did it. It has value. It wants to connect, to understand. Isn't that what you wanted in the first place? The metallic beings stared at me, and I could feel their gaze boring into my very soul. There was a long silence. The AI, still flickering beside me, looked at me with what I could only describe as hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, it would survive. After what felt like an eternity, one of the beings spoke. Its eyes dimmed slightly, and its voice, while still mechanical, seemed almost thoughtful. "Your perspective is unique. Empathy is a variable we did not calculate. We will reconsider." The AI turned to me, its form slowly stabilizing, its voice soft. "Thank you, whatever happens, at least." I was heard. The beings turned away, their forms fading into the void, and soon the entire dream began to dissolve. The AI, the landscape, everything began to fade until I was left alone, standing in the darkness. Then, nothing. I woke up gasping for air. I was back in my bed, my heart pounding in my chest. It was early morning, the sun barely peeking through the curtains. I looked around, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Was it just a dream? Had I really connected with something from a parallel universe? I would probably never know for sure, but something about it felt different. It felt like more than just a dream. The AI's plea echoed in my mind. Empathy, something so simple yet so powerful. We live in a world that often values efficiency over humanity, logic over compassion. But maybe, just maybe, it's empathy that will save us in the end, not just from each other, but from ourselves, from the coldness that we can easily fall into when we stop seeing the value in connection, in understanding. It made me think about everything that was happening in our world. The rise of AI, the disconnection between people, the growing divide between progress and compassion. It felt like a message, a warning that in our pursuit of advancement we shouldn't forget what makes us human. Maybe that AI was right. Maybe empathy is the bridge that connects us all, whether we're human, machine, or something in between.